Birth of a sea power, the American Revolution, and the founding of the U.S. Navy. The story of the U.S. Navy is one of resilience, determination, and strategic brilliance. The U.S. Navy was born out of necessity. The American colonies, facing the might of the British Empire, needed a way to protect their interests and assert their independence on the high seas. In 1775, the American colonies were at war with Great Britain. The conflict was not just on land, but also on the vast oceans that connected the world. The Continental Congress recognized the need for a naval force. They understood that control of the seas was crucial for the success of their revolutionary cause. This force would challenge British dominance at sea. The British Navy was the most powerful in the world, and the American colonies needed to find a way to counter this formidable opponent. On October 13, 1775, the Continental Congress authorized the purchase of 2 vessels. This marked the official birth of the Continental Navy, a small but significant step towards establishing a naval presence. These ships would become the first ships of the Continental Navy. They were modest in size and firepower, but they represented the hopes and aspirations of a fledgling nation. This was the precursor to the United States Navy. The Continental Navy laid the foundation for what would become one of the most powerful naval forces in the world. The early Continental Navy was small. It consisted of just a handful of ships, manned by brave and determined sailors who were willing to risk everything for their country's freedom. It faced a much larger and more experienced British Navy. The odds were heavily stacked against the Continental Navy, but they were undeterred. Despite these challenges, the Continental Navy achieved some notable successes. Their victories, though few, were significant and boosted the morale of the American forces. John Paul Jones, a Scottish-born sailor, became a legendary figure. His daring and audacious tactics earned him a place in naval history. He commanded the USS Bonhomme Richard. Under his leadership, the ship became a symbol of American resilience and tenacity. Jones famously declared, "I have not yet begun to fight," during a fierce battle with a British ship. This statement epitomized the fighting spirit of the Continental Navy. The Continental Navy played a crucial role in the American Revolution. It harassed British shipping. It disrupted supply lines. These actions, though small in scale, had a significant impact on the British war effort. The Navy also provided critical support to the Continental Army. By controlling key waterways, they facilitated the movement of troops and supplies, which was essential for the success of the revolutionary cause. After the war, the Continental Navy was disbanded in 1783. The new nation, exhausted from years of conflict, turned its attention to rebuilding and addressing domestic issues. The new nation was eager to focus on domestic issues. The challenges of establishing a stable government and economy took precedence over maintaining a standing navy. However, the need for a permanent naval force would soon become apparent. The young nation faced threats from foreign powers and needed to protect its interests on the high seas. The experience of the American Revolution demonstrated the importance of sea power. Control of the seas was essential for national security and economic prosperity. A strong navy was essential for national defense. It provided a deterrent against foreign aggression and ensured the safety of American shores. It was also critical for protecting American commerce. The ability to safeguard trade routes and merchant ships was vital for the nation's economic growth. The United States Navy would rise from the ashes of the Continental Navy. With renewed purpose and determination, it would grow into a formidable force. It carried with it the legacy of those early patriots who fought for American independence on the high seas. Their courage and sacrifice laid the groundwork for a navy that would become a symbol of American strength and freedom. Early trials and triumphs. The War of 1812 and the growth of a nation. The young United States faced a new challenge in the early 19th century. The nation was drawn into another conflict with Great Britain. This conflict is known as the War of 1812. The war was fought over maritime rights. It was also about British impressment of American sailors. The U.S. Navy, though still relatively small, played a pivotal role in the conflict. American naval victories in the War of 1812 surprised many. The USS Constitution, under the command of Isaac Hull, earned the nickname Old Ironsides for her ability to withstand British cannon fire. The frigate's victories over British ships bolstered American morale. It showcased the growing capability of the U.S. Navy. On Lake Erie, Captain Oliver Hazard Perry's decisive victory in the Battle of Lake Erie effectively secured the Great Lakes for the Americans. Perry famously reported his victory with the words, "We have met the enemy, and they are ours." These victories at sea proved critical in securing American independence. The War of 1812 demonstrated the vital importance of a strong navy for the young nation. It highlighted the need for skilled sailors and capable ships. The war also fostered a sense of national pride and identity. This would shape the future of the U.S. Navy. It cemented its role as the guardian of America's interests on the high seas. The age of iron and steam, technological advancements, and the Civil War. The 19th century witnessed a period of rapid technological innovation. This era, often referred to as the Industrial Revolution, brought about significant changes in various fields, including transportation, manufacturing, and communication. The advancements in technology during this period were not just limited to civilian life, but also had a profound impact on military strategies and capabilities. This had a profound impact on naval warfare. The introduction of new technologies and innovations changed the way naval battles were fought, making them more strategic and deadly. The traditional wooden ships, which had dominated the seas for centuries, were gradually being replaced by more advanced and powerful vessels. The U.S. Navy was not immune to these changes. As the world around it evolved, so did the Navy, adopting new technologies and strategies to maintain its dominance on the seas. The transformation of Navy ships over time is a testament to the relentless pursuit of progress and innovation. The transition from sail to steam power and the introduction of ironclad warships revolutionized naval combat. Steam power allowed ships to move faster and more efficiently, while ironclad warships provided better protection against enemy fire. These advancements made naval battles more intense and unpredictable. The U.S. Navy embraced these advancements. The adoption of steam power and ironclad technology marked a significant shift in naval warfare, allowing the Navy to undertake more complex and daring missions. The upgrades to naval ships during this period were not just about improving firepower, but also about enhancing speed, maneuverability, and resilience. It played a crucial role in shaping the course of the American Civil War. The Navy's ability to control the seas and rivers was instrumental in the Union's strategy to defeat the Confederacy. Significant naval events during the Civil War demonstrated the importance of naval power in determining the outcome of the conflict. The Civil War, from 1861 to 1865, was a watershed moment in American history. It was a time of great national division, with the country split between the Union in the North and the Confederacy in the South. The war brought about immense suffering and loss, but it also led to significant social and political changes. It was a time of great national division. Families were torn apart, communities were divided, and the nation was plunged into a brutal and bloody conflict. The battles fought during the Civil War were some of the most intense and devastating in American history. The U.S. Navy played a critical role in the Union's eventual victory. The Navy's ability to enforce blockades, control key waterways, and support ground operations was crucial in weakening the Confederacy's war effort. The Union's naval strategies were instrumental in achieving victory. The Union blockade of Confederate ports enforced by the U.S. Navy severely hampered the Confederacy's ability to wage war. The blockade prevented the South from receiving essential supplies and reinforcements, crippling their war effort and contributing to their eventual defeat. The battle between the USS Monitor and the CSS Virginia, also known as the Merrimack, marked the beginning of a new era in naval warfare. This historic clash demonstrated the effectiveness of ironclad warships and signaled the end of wooden warships' dominance. These ironclad warships clashed in Hampton Roads, Virginia in 1862. The battle was fierce and intense, with both sides demonstrating the power and resilience of their new ironclad vessels. The clash of these titans was a turning point in naval history. The battle ended in a draw. However, it was clear that the era of wooden warships was over. The ironclads had proven their worth, and navies around the world took notice, leading to a new age of naval warfare. However, it signaled the end of wooden warships. The transition to ironclad ships was inevitable as they offered superior protection and firepower. This shift marked a significant milestone in the evolution of naval warfare. The U.S. Navy's role in the Civil War extended beyond blockades and ironclad clashes. The Navy was involved in various other operations, including riverine warfare, which played a crucial role in the conflict. The ability to control rivers and support ground troops was vital to the Union's success. Riverine warfare played a crucial role in the conflict. The U.S. Navy's control of key rivers allowed the Union to launch attacks deep into Confederate territory, disrupting supply lines and weakening the enemy's defenses. The U.S. Navy's control of the Mississippi River effectively split the Confederacy in two. This strategic advantage allowed the Union to cut off vital supply routes and isolate Confederate forces, significantly contributing to the Union's victory. The Navy's ability to control the seas and rivers, enforce blockades, and support ground operations was instrumental in the Union's success. The contributions of the U.S. Navy during the Civil War cannot be overstated. The Civil War tested the U.S. Navy in unprecedented ways. The challenges faced during the conflict pushed the Navy to innovate and adapt, leading to significant advancements in naval technology and strategy. It emerged from the conflict as a more modern and formidable force. The experiences and lessons learned during the Civil War laid the foundation for the future development of the U.S. Navy, transforming it into a powerful and advanced military force capable of projecting power across the globe. Blue Water Navy expansion and modernization in the late 19th century. The late 19th century was a transformative period for the United States Navy, marking a significant shift from a period of decline to one of rapid growth and modernization. Following the Civil War, the U.S. Navy entered a period of relative decline. The fleet was outdated and resources were scarce, leading to a diminished naval presence on the world stage. However, the nation was emerging as a global power. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, bringing about technological advancements and economic growth that would soon fuel a naval renaissance. This new status demanded a strong navy to protect its expanding interests. As America's economic and political influence grew, so did the need for a formidable naval force to safeguard its trade routes and assert its presence on the global stage. The late 19th century witnessed a renewed focus on naval development. Shipyards buzzed with activity as new vessels were constructed, incorporating the latest in naval technology and design. The U.S. Navy embarked on a path of modernization and expansion. Steel-hulled warships replaced the old wooden vessels, and new innovations in armament and propulsion were adopted. This transformation would lay the foundation for its rise to becoming a global maritime power. The modernization efforts were not just about building ships, but also about creating a strategic vision for the future. Alfred Thayer Mahan, a U.S. naval officer and historian, championed the concept of sea power. His influential works argued that national greatness was closely tied to maritime dominance. He argued that a nation's greatness was inextricably linked to its ability to control the seas. Mahan's theories emphasized the importance of a strong navy in achieving and maintaining global influence. Mahan's ideas resonated with policymakers and naval leaders. His vision for a powerful navy inspired a new generation of naval strategists and played a crucial role in shaping U.S. naval policy. They influenced the U.S. Navy's modernization efforts. The construction of modern steel-hulled warships and the establishment of overseas bases were direct results of Mahan's strategic insights. The U.S. Navy began constructing modern steel-hulled warships. It acquired overseas bases. These bases extended the Navy's reach and allowed for greater operational flexibility. This expansion was driven by a desire to protect American commerce. The growing American economy relied heavily on international trade, and a strong navy was essential to protect merchant ships and trade routes. It was also fueled by a growing sense of national pride and a belief in America's destiny as a global power. The public supported naval expansion, seeing it as a symbol of national strength and ambition. The Spanish-American War of 1898 marked a turning point for the U.S. Navy. The conflict provided an opportunity to showcase the capabilities of the newly modernized fleet. The war demonstrated the effectiveness of the modernized U.S. Navy. The fleet's performance in battle validated the investments in new ships and technology. It also highlighted the strategic importance of overseas bases. These bases allowed the Navy to project power far from American shores and maintain a global presence. The U.S. Navy's decisive victory in the Battle of Manila Bay, in the Philippines, showcased its capabilities on the world stage. The battle was a clear demonstration of the Navy's newfound strength and strategic acumen. The U.S. emerged from the war as a major naval power. The success in the Spanish-American War solidified the Navy's role as a key instrument of national policy. It was prepared to play a more prominent role in global affairs. With a modernized fleet and strategic bases, the U.S. Navy was ready to assert its influence and protect American interests around the world.